Every hidden AI advantage explained in 7 minutes. ChatGPT, built by OpenAI and released to the public in late 2022, it became the fastest growing consumer application in history, reaching 100 million users in just 2 months. But its hidden advantage for everyday users has never really been about the numbers. What makes ChatGPT quietly powerful for the average person is how much has already been built around it. Tutorials, guides, prompt libraries, browser extensions, and third-party tools all exist in abundance, specifically for ChatGPT Ulk users. If you get stuck, there are more resources to help you get unstuck than with any other model available. There's also the memory feature, which gradually changes the experience in ways that are easy to miss at first. Over time, it retains details about who you are, how you prefer to communicate, and what context matters to you. So instead of re-explaining yourself every session, the conversation picks up with a kind of familiarity that builds quietly in the background. For someone using AI regularly to manage work, write, plan, or problem solve, that accumulated context starts to feel less like a tool and more like a working relationship. The breadth of what it can do combined with how many people have already figured out how to make it work for their specific needs gives everyday users a significant head start. Claude, developed by Anthropic, a company founded by researchers who left OpenAI over concerns about the direction of AI development, Claude was built from the ground up with a different set of priorities. For users, the most immediately noticeable quality is that it genuinely reads what you wrote. Not just the surface request, but the intent behind it. It tends to give answers that are thoughtful rather than just fast. And it will tell you when it thinks you're heading in a wrong direction rather than agreeing just to keep things comfortable. But the hidden advantage that most people don't fully appreciate until they actually need it is how much text it can work with in a single conversation. You can hand Claude an entire document, a long report, a contract, a research paper, a full set of meeting notes, and ask it to reason across all of it at once. Many AI models start to lose track of earlier details as a conversation gets longer. Claude was specifically designed not to do that. For students, researchers, lawyers, writers, and anyone who regularly works with large amounts of information, that difference in how much it can hold and stay coherent about is not a minor technical footnote. It genuinely changes what you can ask it to do. Gemini, Google had been working on AI research for years before Gemini became a consumer product, and when it arrived, it brought something with it that no other model on this list can offer in the same way. It lives inside the tools most people already use every day. That is its hidden advantage for users, and it's more practical than it might sound in the abstract. If you're working in Google Docs, Gemini is already there. If you're managing emails in Gmail, it can read, summarize, and help you respond without you switching to a separate app. If you're searching on Google, it can surface answers that go beyond a list of links. There's no copy pasting, no switching between windows, no friction of moving your work from one place to another just to get AI help with it. For users who live inside Google's ecosystem, and hundreds of millions of people do, that seamless presence means the gap between having a question and getting a useful answer is smaller than with almost any other model. It also connects to current, live information by default, so users don't have to wonder whether the answer they're getting is based on something that was true 18 months ago. Mistral, built by a French AI startup founded in 2023 by researchers who previously worked at Google DeepMind and Meta, Mistral arrived quietly and quickly earned a reputation among users who actually tried it. Its hidden advantage is a combination of speed and directness that most people only notice after using slower, more verbose models for a while. Mistral tends to get to the point. Where some models wrap a straightforward answer in several paragraphs of context, setting, and qualification, Mistral gives you the answer and trusts you to ask a follow-up if you need more. For users who find that style of communication more respectful of their time, that quality alone makes it worth paying attention to. It also runs efficiently enough that its responses arrive faster than many comparable models, which matters more than people expect when you're using AI as part of an active workflow rather than occasionally dropping in with a single question. Beyond speed, Mistral has made several of its models openly available, meaning users who want to run something locally or build a lightweight personal tool have a capable foundation to work from without needing to rely on a large commercial platform. For European users in particular, there's also the added reassurance of a model developed under European data regulations, which carries real weight for anyone who thinks carefully about where their information goes and whose rules govern it. Llama. Meta made a decision that changed the options available to a certain kind of user permanently. It released Llama's model weights openly, meaning anyone could download it and run it themselves. For most casual users, that might not sound immediately relevant, but for users who care about privacy, the implications are significant. Running Llama locally means your conversations never leave your device. There are no servers receiving your prompts, no company storing your queries, no data being used to train future models. Everything stays on your own machine. For people who deal with sensitive personal information, confidential work documents, medical questions they'd rather keep private, or simply anyone who is uncomfortable with the idea of their thoughts passing through a corporate server, that is a genuinely meaningful advantage. Beyond privacy, local deployment means the model works without an internet connection, without a subscription, and without any ongoing cost after setup. It also means users aren't subject to content policies that might restrict what they can ask or explore. That level of control over your own AI experience is something no closed, subscription-based model can offer by design. Grok. XAI built Grok with access to X, formerly Twitter, and for users, that single feature quietly sets it apart from everything else available. Most AI models exist in a kind of permanent past tense. Their knowledge has a cutoff date, and anything that happened after that point is simply outside their reach. Grok doesn't have that problem in the same way. If something happened this morning, a market move, a political development, a public figure saying something unexpected, Grok can know about it. For users whose work or interests require staying current, that real-time awareness is not a luxury. It's the difference between an AI that can actually help you navigate today's world and one that's useful for everything except what's happening right now. It was also built with a noticeably wider range of topics it will engage with directly, without deflecting or softening the response into something vague. Users who have run into the frustration of asking a reasonable question and receiving an overly cautious non-answer will recognize why that matters. Grok tends to just answer, which for many users is exactly what they were looking for. DeepSeek. What makes DeepSeek quietly valuable for users has less to do with how it was built and more to do with what that means for access. Because the model was developed using significantly more efficient training methods, it can be offered at a much lower cost than comparable models. And in many cases, it's available for free at a level of capability that would otherwise require a paid subscription elsewhere. For users in parts of the world where AI subscription pricing is genuinely prohibitive, or for students, freelancers, and individuals who simply don't want to pay a monthly fee to access a capable model, DeepSeek represents something real, strong performance without the price tag. It also handles technical and analytical tasks, coding, mathematics, structured problem solving, with a precision that competes with models that cost considerably more to use. The gap between what's free and what's good has traditionally been wide in this industry. DeepSeek narrowed it in a way that directly benefits the user sitting at the other end of the conversation. OpenClaw. Most AI models are built to handle everything: writing, coding, answering questions, making plans, having conversations. OpenClaw was built to do fewer things and do them more carefully. For users whose primary need is accuracy over personality, that focused design is its hidden advantage. When you're working through a technical problem, debugging logic, or following a line of reasoning that has to be correct at every step, a model that prioritizes precision over fluency is genuinely more useful. The answers tend to be less conversational, but more dependable. There's less of the confident-sounding output that turns out to contain a subtle error buried in the middle, which is one of the more quietly frustrating experiences of using a generalist AI for technical work. Users who know exactly what they need and value consistency over range will find that OpenClaw's narrow focus is not a limitation, but a feature. It was built for the kind of work where getting it right matters more than getting it fast.